The temptation of the forest. On a bright sunny morning, little mouse Dotty peeked out from the doorway of its home. Dotty's house was located at the edge of a dense forest, a place full of the unknown and adventure. Dotty had always dreamed of exploring the mysteries of the forest, but its mother always warned it not to wander too far. However, today, Dotty's curiosity overcame its fear, and it decided to venture into the forest in search of the wonders it had only seen in dreams. Dotty darted nimbly between the trees, its eyes sparkling with excitement. Everything in the forest seemed novel to it. The colorful butterflies dancing among the flowers, the cheerful birds singing and hopping on the branches, and the oddly shaped mushrooms that look like fairies from a fairy tale world. Dotty was completely immersed in this magical world, forgetting the passage of time. Sunlight filtered through the gaps in the leaves, warming Dotty's body. It sat down on a moss-covered stone and gazed up at the blue sky and white clouds, filled with a longing for the unknown world. Dotty knew that its mother was always concerned for its safety, but today, it wanted to prove that it was brave and independent enough. Dotty continued its adventure, moving through grove after grove, crossing stream after stream. It saw many things it had never seen before: a lazy hedgehog dozing in the sun, a group of busy ants transporting food, and a sly fox peering through the grass. Dotty felt both excited and nervous, but it didn't stop. It wanted to explore more and discover more. The magic of nightfall. As the sun gradually dipped below the horizon, the entire forest was bathed in a golden glow. Dot dashed through the woods, as if racing against time with each step. However, when the last rays of sunlight faded, the forest light turned dim and mysterious, as if a magician had waved his wand, transforming day into a hazy illusion. Dot suddenly realized that the surroundings were no longer familiar. The trees that seemed friendly by day now loomed tall and somber in the night. It tried to recall the path it had taken, only to find that every direction was mercilessly swallowed by darkness. Fear surged in its heart like a tide, and Dot shivered involuntarily. Taking a deep breath, it tried hard to calm itself. Its mother's advice echoed in its ears: face difficulties bravely. Dot knew that fear would only render it more helpless. To avoid being consumed by the darkness, it decided to rely on its own wisdom and courage to find a way home. Dot wandered aimlessly in the forest, with occasional breezes rustling the leaves, as if whispering secrets. It called out loudly, hoping someone would hear its cries for help, but the only response was the ethereal echo. In the endless night, Dot felt an unprecedented loneliness. Just as it was about to give up, a gentle hoo hoo pierced the silence of the night from afar. Dot followed the sound and saw a pair of bright eyes twinkling in the darkness, like two warm stars. It was an owl, gracefully perched on a nearby branch. The owl gently flapped its wings and landed beside Dot. It softly inquired why Dot was there, and Dot recounted its plight in full detail. The owl smiled gently and reassured it. "Do not fear. Though the night is deep, we can always find the light." Soaring hope. Encouraged by the owl, Dot mustered its strength. It realized that the night not only brought fear, but also held an indescribable magic, a magic that guided it toward the unknown, With trust and courage, Dot decided to follow the owl and embark on a new journey. When the owl spread its wide wings and gently lifted Dot off the ground, Dot felt a lightness it had never experienced before. Clutching the owl's soft feathers tightly, it was both nervous and excited. As they slowly ascended into the night sky, Dot looked down to see the once confusing shadows of the trees now appeared small and peaceful. Under the moonlight, the forest seemed draped in a silver veil, mysterious and dreamy. In the air, a gentle breeze caressed Dot's face, bringing with it the fresh scent of leaves and earth. The owl soared gracefully, carrying Dot across the forest canopy, flying over twinkling stars and shimmering rivers. Dot closed its eyes, allowing itself to immerse in the tranquility and beauty. It felt as if it were in a gentle embrace, evoking a sense of home and endless longing for the future. At that moment, Dot's heart was filled with a yearning for home. Each heartbeat seemed to call out the name of home, painting pictures in its mind of reuniting with its parents. Their warm embrace, familiar laughter, and boundless love. Dot knew that no matter how long the journey, it would eventually return to that warm harbor. The warmth of home. As the owl and Dot neared home, Dot's heartbeat quickened, as if a joyous melody were playing in its heart. In the distance, its home was faintly visible, the soft light from the window like a warm call piercing through the night, guiding it back to the long-awaited harbor. Dot's eyes moistened with excitement and endless longing. Dot's home was nestled on a quiet hill, surrounded by shrubs blooming with white flowers. Moonlight spilled over the path, as if paving a starlit avenue, and Dot was almost impatient to rush into the familiar embrace. It saw two familiar figures at the door, its father and mother, looking so kind and welcoming in the gentle light. The owl slowly descended, and Dot gently hopped off its back, feeling a reassuring connection to the earth with its paws. Without hesitation, it dashed toward its parents, leaping into their warm embrace. At that moment, it felt the boundless love and comfort from its parents, and all the fears and loneliness were dispelled in that one hug. Its parents held Dot tightly, as if to smooth away all the night's anxieties and fears. Their faces beamed with relieved smiles, and their eyes glistened with tears of joy and the relief of seeing Dot safely home. Dot felt an unprecedented sense of security, knowing that this place would always be its home. Dot turned and gratefully hugged the owl, softly saying, "Thank you, my friend." The owl smiled and nodded, its eyes full of kindness and encouragement. It flapped its wings and gracefully soared into the night sky, gradually disappearing among the sparkling stars. Dot watched it depart, silently vowing in its heart to always remember the friend who brought light in the darkness. That night, Dot savored the long-missed warmth of home. Its parents prepared a sweet dinner, and as Dot ate, it recounted its adventure. Warmth spread throughout the small house, and Dot knew that this moment of happiness would be forever etched in its memory. Lessons of growth. Under the warm light, Dot sat at the dining table, its eyes sparkling with excitement. It eagerly shared its adventure with its parents. Dot's voice varied from low to high, as if reliving the thrilling journey once more. It described the fear of being lost in the forest, the helpless feeling of being engulfed by darkness, as if adrift in a boundless ocean. Dot also spoke of the loneliness under the night sky, when it seemed the whole world was asleep, leaving it alone to find a way out. Then, it recounted the owl's timely appearance, a friend who arrived like a dawn, dispelling the shadows in its heart. Its parents listened quietly, their eyes full of warmth and concern. Whenever Dot spoke of the thrills, its mother would hold its little paw tightly, giving it courage and strength. Its father smiled beside them, nodding occasionally to show understanding and approval. When Dot finished, its parents praised its bravery and wisdom. They told Dot that in life, everyone has moments of losing their way, but the important thing is to learn from them and grow stronger and wiser. In a gentle voice, Dot's father said, "Life is a continuous journey of learning and growth. Sometimes we need to get lost to discover new paths." Dot deeply understood its parents' teachings. It realized that this adventure was not just a challenge, but a rite of passage in its growth. It learned how to stay calm in adversity and to trust and appreciate those who appeared in its life, like the owl. That night, Dot lay in its small bed, feeling an unparalleled sense of peace and satisfaction. It knew its path of growth had just begun, and this warm home would always be its motivation and support moving forward. Dot closed its eyes, its heart brimming with endless hopes for the future. A new beginning. After returning from the wondrous adventure, Dot's life underwent subtle yet profound changes. Every morning, as sunlight streamed through the curtains onto its small bed, Dot felt a call for a fresh start. It no longer played until sunset as before, but learned to manage its time, making every moment fulfilling and meaningful. Dot began to cherish time spent with its family even more. At the dinner table each evening, it would share its day's little discoveries and achievements with its parents. Whether it was a new mushroom on the forest edge or tales of neighboring animals, Dot delighted in sharing with its family. The warmth and laughter that filled the small home made Dot feel incredibly happy. Meanwhile, Dot also became more mindful of time while playing. Whenever the sun started to sink, Dot would glance up at the changing shadows in the sky. It knew that no matter how enchanting the forest was, home after sunset was where its heart belonged, its eternal haven. Every nightfall, Dot would lie in bed, reminiscing about the unforgettable adventure. It often thought of the owl carrying it over forests and rivers, that feeling of soaring freedom still stirring its heart. Dot knew that while the adventure had ended, its journey of growth was just beginning. This experience taught Dot not only courage and wisdom, but also to cherish the important people and moments in life. With its heart full of hope for the future, Dot looked forward to new days and more learning and growth. It believed that no matter what lay ahead, it could face it bravely because it had learned how to find its own path in this beautiful world.